Thank you, thank you, thank you. Listen, if y'all want to do that for 30 minutes, that makes my life so much easier. I will not stop you. Revolution 2022. I got a simple question for you to start this off. Who here is ready to make liberty win? That's what I thought. That's what I thought. Then I must be in the right place. That's good to know. I was worried I might have lost some of you with everything that's happened over the last year or so, the double-digit inflation, the threat of the returning lockdowns, shortages on everything, the ever-present threat of looming war. So I'm glad to see that I didn't lose you. I'm glad to see that you still realize that we need liberty to win. I'm so happy to be here at Revolution 2022, or as the FBI calls it, the domestic terrorist fan. Oh. Yes. Yes, give it up for domestic extremism. So, who here, by the way, has seen that? The FBI released, actually they didn't release it, it got leaked. Their most recent release that they put out to their anti-terrorism people, showing all of the slogans and phrases and symbols that they use to identify pretty much everyone in here as what they call a militia violent extremist. Who's seen that? Yeah. Yeah. Did you see what they included? Some of the things they included the Betsy Ross flag, you know, the first American flag, that's terrorism. They included the quote from Thomas Jefferson's Tree of Liberty quote. They included the entire wording of the Second Amendment. Like, they included part of the Constitution as a way to determine. So in other words, even just acknowledging the existence of American history and American laws will get you branded a terrorist by this government. That's what I said. Now, there was a little silver lining there. I don't know if anyone noticed, but for the first time, they also included the anarcho-capitalist flag. That's right. That's right, guys. We made it. We finally made it. I am hoping, fingers crossed, I'm hoping the timing will be right when we all get home from this. Our Toyota pickup trucks and machine guns will be waiting for us at home. That's the hope. That's the hope, but we shall see. We shall see. Now, I'm so happy about this news that I've actually been workshopping a new slogan that I think can be helpful moving forward, that we can use to also help them to identify us as violent extremists for the FBI and the NSA and the TSA and the DEA and the Fed and, of course, my favorite, the ATF. So I'm gonna workshop that. You can tell me what you think about this phrase that they can add to their extremist list. Everyone get your phones. I want to make sure they can hear it very well. So the phrase that I've got for them is, we're going to abolish your agencies and prosecute you for the crimes you've committed. Right. That's right. That's right, lock them up. So, good. Well, it sounds like we're on the same page here, and I'm happy to hear that. Like I said, I'm glad that you are still here to make liberty win, because the reality is things just keep getting worse. And there are some silver linings, though. This is a record-breaking group for Young Americans for Liberty, and it grows more every single year. Young voices like you are being shown more and more. Liberty-loving voices like you are being portrayed in both old media and new more than ever before. Millions of freedom-loving people like you join me every single day in making government and corporate media absolutely miserable on the internet. That's right. That's right. And it makes sense to understand why. A recent poll came out that showed that 13% of Americans, only 13% of Americans, are satisfied with the way things are going in this country, which of course begs the question, who the hell are these people? Who are the 13% that see this and say, anyway, that means, of course, that 87% are dissatisfied with the status quo. So that should be easy for us, right? If they're dissatisfied with the status quo, well, we're the opposite of the status quo. If tyranny and oppression is what got us here, then liberty is what's going to get us out of it, right? So all we got to do is show up and say, hey, you know this thing that you absolutely hate? We're the opposite of that. Come and join us, right? Here's the only problem. Most people don't actually believe that. They're frustrated with the status quo, but they're deeply embedded in it still. The vast majority of people in this country still think that government is the solution. The vast majority of people, I wish it was, I know, that's what I said. That's what I said. The vast majority of people in this country think that one half of the ruling class is solely to blame for all of this, and the other half of the ruling class is our only savior to get us out of it. No, I know. The vast majority of people think that freedom, or at least too much freedom, is scary and dangerous and might be responsible for the problems that we have right now. That's the problem that we're facing right now. We learned from the Milgram experiment that a good, solid majority of people, if they're shown the semblance of authority, will go along with things that make absolutely no sense. So it stands to reason that our government is increasingly run, our country is increasingly run by control freaks wearing lab coats. That makes sense, right? I agree with all of the different things that were just said just now. There's like 5 different things, but you were all right. So here's what it is, guys. People they aren't ready for this yet. Most people aren't quite ready for freedom yet. So how do we get them ready? We argue with them on the internet, we tell them why they're wrong, and then we make memes about how stupid they are. Thank you. No, please. I'm concerned about how loud you clapped for that. No. Please don't go and do that. No, I know, I want to join you, but let's not. So, here's how you do it. Like we were saying before, tyranny got us here, liberty will get us out of it. We know that, but the fact is most people, you can't reach them through argumentation, as much as we'd like to. We can't reach them just by telling them. Most people are not brilliant early adopters like we are, right? Most people need to be shown something. They need to have it demonstrated to them. They need to see how liberty works, not just in theory, but in actual practice. And thankfully, that's the work that Young Americans for Liberty is doing every single day. Whether you're going around the country knocking on doors to make liberty win, whether you're growing and starting new campus chapters across the country, whether you're learning the new leadership skills that you will need, not just in the liberty movement, but in your life, you are the grassroots movement for human liberty. I am right now looking at the next generations of foot soldiers for the fight for liberty, and I believe you're going to win it. Now, as you know, your strategy is largely local and statewide, and that makes sense because that's where we need to start. That's actually what I've been doing as well. I've been doing it a little bit differently than Yal's been doing it, but we work together very well. You guys are focusing primarily on the campaigning and the raising awareness for activism and events. We're doing it mostly issues-based, issues-oriented activism. That's what we're doing. And I can give you an example of how we're doing that. We've been doing it across the country. We just officially launched 2 months ago, but we've been doing it as a proof of concept for over a year now. And I'm going to give you an example of one of those cases of how we've been doing this. Who here is from North Carolina? Okay, 7 of you. Who here has heard of North Carolina? There we go. North Carolina in the house. So it's like 2 states away. Anyway, in North Carolina, there is a town there called Gastonia. And Gastonia has some of the most incredible people you'll ever meet. And unfortunately, it also has one of the most corrupt governments that you will ever experience. Yep. Yes. And last year, there was a man by the name of Josh Rohrer. And he is one of those incredible people I was telling you about. Unfortunately, some of you know Josh. Okay, good. Then you know how this is going to go. And About a year ago, Josh was out with his PTSD service dog, Sunshine. Josh is was a homeless veteran. He now isn't homeless, thankfully, but he was a homeless veteran, and he was out with his PTSD service dog, Sunshine. And two police officers came. They arrested him. They roughed him up pretty good, and they tased Sunshine. They tased his service dog. And unfortunately, later, Sunshine passed away. And the police, now hold on. The police claimed that this was all perfectly understandable. Joshua was actually resisting arrest, and he was breaking the law, and his service dog bit one of the officers, and they did what they had to do. Now, Joshua and every other single witness there said that's not what happened at all. Just the opposite happened. Well, we're getting there. They said that that's not what happened. Joshua didn't break the law. He was complying. The dog wasn't doing anything to anyone. They just did what they wanted to do. Now, thankfully, every single officer that was there had body cam footage, which Joshua and his attorney had seen. And you could very easily find out who's telling the truth by just releasing the body cam footage. And you're going to be shocked to discover what the police attorneys and district attorney fought for months to keep blocked. And I know, I'm as shocked as you. You're going to be further shocked to discover that one of the officers, his father, is the head of internal affairs. Yeah, I know, big shocker there, right? Well, I could spend the next hour talking about all the things that the Gastonia Police Department and Gastonia government did to Joshua and to many others. In the middle of all this, they also shut down the only homeless shelter in the city, and as a result, dozens of homeless people have died needlessly for no good reason. I could talk about this for hours. The bottom line is that they've been doing this for decades. They thought they were going to do it again. They thought they were going to run roughshod over Joshua and everyone else. And then we found out about it. And when we found out about it, we immediately began swarming these government officials online, letting them know they weren't going to get a single break. We started flooding their phone lines. We started flooding their emails. We made sure that they knew that they were on notice, that this was not going to be like the other times. While we did that, our local activists on the ground started making coalitions with other people in that area who were already upset about this or were already lobbying against government on other things that were happening there, and started building coalitions. Then we started doing in-person events, family-friendly rallies that everyone was invited to come to call for the release of Joshua's body cam footage. And then what we would do after that event, we'd show up at the city council meeting right afterwards and tell them to their faces what we wanted them to do. And we did it over and over and over again. We didn't let up. We didn't let up because they knew what the right thing was to do. They just thought they didn't have to do it. Well, we showed them they did have to do it. And I can now proudly report that not only did they drop all the bogus charges against Joshua, not only did eventually almost every single one of those city council members stand up and go, well, I always, of course, wanted the body cam footage released after nearly a year of silence on it. But now, actually last week, we finally got the body cam footage released, and we now are showing it to the public. And the public is seeing firsthand, unmitigated, that the police were completely in the wrong, that they completely made up and fabricated the charges against him, that the dog was nowhere near anyone to bite anyone or anything else, that they lied and intimidated witnesses and threatened them and refused to take their testimony, and then they lied to their supervisors when they showed up. And it's all on footage now. So now the next step for that fight is prosecution of every officer that committed a crime there. That's right. And after we lock them up, we're going to change North Carolina law so that from now on, body cam footage can't be held by corrupt officials. If there's a dispute of what happened, it gets released. If we paid for it, it's our footage, and there's no reason we should have to beg the crown for it. Now, that is the kind of work that we are doing. And in doing so, that's how we are helping Joshua. But here's how that helps Liberty. The people who are showing up, they're soccer moms. They're pastors. They're just general members of the community. They span the political spectrum. They span every single ethnic and racial demographic. They are people who are coming together on something that they may not even know is a liberty issue. They just know it's the right thing, and we're the ones that organize them around it. We are making liberty win by having the residents of that town win and then showing them that that's what liberty looks like. This is the kind of work that we do when we go into our communities, meet them where they are, show them how we got here, and then show them how liberty can fix it. This is the work that you are doing in Yale every single day, and it's incredible work. The things you are going to learn here at Rev 22 and the connections that you are going to make, you are going to take out into the world and use it to grow this movement in ways that don't even seem imaginable yet. And I believe in you. You are the generation that is going to do this. We are primed to do it. We have everything on our side, and now it's time to do it. And I can't wait to see what you do. You're not going to clap for yourselves? Okay, no, that's fine. No, listen. Look. I thought if anything, you clap for yourselves. Don't clap for me, clap for you. I'm here for you. No. Keep doing the work that you're doing. But in addition to that, build coalitions with people in your area that may even just agree with you on one single issue and work with them to win on that one single issue. Show up to your city councils, school boards, zoning boards, whatever else, and speak sense to those corrupt fools and organize and invite for people to join you. Hell, invite me. I'll come and do it too. I like that. That's one of my favorite things. Cyberbully the government 24 hours a day until they delete their social media accounts. Why would that get the biggest applause line? Okay. No, I know. I stand with you guys on this. Show people how liberty works in practice, in demonstration, and not just theory. People want to know how to fix this, and no one is telling them. That's what we're here for. We're going to tell them, but more importantly, we're going to show them. You are showing them. There's a phrase I use very often. You might have heard it. I say, I'm Spike Cohen, and you are the power. And what I mean by that is that you have the power. You have everything inside of you that you need to be a warrior for liberty. And that's good, because it's only going to be us, guys. I got some news for you. No one's coming to save us. Very often, many times in this movement, people have been waiting for a hero. You're the hero. If you're looking for a hero, I need you to look in the mirror, because you are going to be that hero. Us working together are going to be those heroes. We're the libertarians. We're already the smartest people in the room. And always, right, by default. And this is Young Americans for Liberty. You're the most motivated people in the room. You're going to do the work. And that's good, because absent our action, things are only going to get worse. You don't like double-digit inflation? Wait till your dollars are as worthless as Zimbabwean dollars. You don't like food and product shortages? Wait till you're lucky to find anything in the store, like in Venezuela. You didn't like the lockdowns and the mandates? Wait till they put you in camps like they did in Australia. Or weld your doors shut like they did in China so you can starve to death. I don't want to eat bugs either, thank you. This isn't, is that the chant? I don't want to eat bugs? Okay, listen. This crowd's wild, man. Listen, this is not from some dystopian novel. This happened. It's already happened, and it's going to happen here unless we stop it. And hey, while we're stopping that, let's put an end to the rest of it too, while we're at it. And the Fed. The government. That is one example, yes, and the Fed, yes. The government labeling you a terrorist for wanting freedom, or for even just acknowledging the existence of freedom, let's put an end to that. The constant threat of wars overseas, let's put an end to that. The Federal Reserve, let's put an end to that. Taxation is theft. The war on your income, your career, your livelihood, your well-being, your family, your way of life, your personal health choices, your autonomy, your freedom. Let's bury it and end it for good. We don't need anyone to save us. We are here to save us. We are here to set America free. We are here to grow this movement. We are here for nothing short of a revolution. You want to make liberty win? Let's do it. Now who's with me?